Saving up $50,000 for a truck can sound like a complete headache right now. But what if I told you that I can get you in that truck and you can make over $100,000 in possibly the very first year? Sounds crazy, right? Trust me, I'm gonna break everything down because in today's lesson, we're gonna go over the cost, how to scale, and what banks are gonna look for to roll out the red carpet so you don't have to spend thousands of dollars out of pocket. So what I want you to do right now is go grab your pen and paper. No, seriously, go grab it because it's gonna be a good one. And without further ado, let's dive in. All right, ladies and gents, so soon-to-be business owners, truckers trying to scale, doesn't matter what walk of life you are. If you're trying to get into that truck and make a lot of money, I'm going to definitely help you with this. I've been getting a lot of clients that have been trying to, get capital to get over the road, even scale their business and things like that. And I've been seeing kind of a pattern when it comes to that. So I kind of wanted to create a video for all of my people to give you kind of a surface level blueprint of what you would need to really get to that next level. Okay. Now, I just want to give you a disclaimer. All right. All these numbers are definitely going to be just ballpark and what I've been seeing as far as averages. It can definitely vary depending on where you're located and what you're actively trying to do. Okay. So I don't need you in my comment section saying, no, it's not $400. It's actually $600. So I'm giving it to you right now. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into the typical ranges I've been seeing for my clients and how it can actively help you, because a lot of you just really need just a blueprint. Okay. Because you keep everything right here and you don't write everything down. So let me try to make it easy for you. So let's go ahead and get into it. Now, again, these are just the typical ranges that I've been seeing. So these are going to be kind of numbers. And again, they can definitely change depending on the state. So for the record, just gear to choose and always do your homework for everything that I'm about to say. So let's go ahead and get into it. So when it came to a few of my clients, when it came to trailers or dry vans, they normally run the range of at least $3,000 to $8,000. Of course, depending on if you're getting new or used, but that's typically in the range of where they pretty much be at. The next thing is insurance, okay? And it depends on your record, of course, but plan to spend about $4,000 plus to get you moving, especially if you're in the newer space or you're too young or you've had certain points on your record. It can, vary, but typically around that $4,000 range, okay? Now, with your DOT or MC authority, that together can range about $300 to $600. And for a truck, we're looking at used units, possibly like $30,000, but really $30,000 to $50,000. And if you finance it and expect a down payment, of course, if your credit is good and things like that, you can expect a down payment maybe $1,500 or more. The next thing that I just want to talk about are the plates and IRPs. That could be a range about maybe $1,600 from what I've been seeing. ELDs, logbooks, however you guys do it, it's about $400. GPS is about $300. And other startup items like, BOC3s, UCR permits, basic repair funds, tolls, you name it. That can range from another $3,000 to $8,000, just surface level. All right. There are way more things that you are actively going to need, but that's just what I've been seeing as far as all the clients that I've been helping get funded. Okay. So just keep that in the back of your mind. But again, always do your due diligence. Now, even if we just sum up everything that I've just said, if you could see everything as in a whole picture, if you finance the truck and only put money down, your total startup, pretty much as far as cash, can be about $15,000 to maybe like $27,600. Okay, so we're looking at maybe $15,000 to $30,000 just to get you started and got started correctly. But let's just say, Eric, I'm really just trying to, get my truck out cash, or just trying to get my truck however I need to do it. I really don't want to put a down payment or anything about that. Your startup could be about maybe $42,600 to ranging maybe about $52,600. Okay, it can vary depending on what truck, what model, and things like that. But as you can see right here, that is a very, very hefty amount of money that you are going to have to save. And by the time you save $50,000, inflation or the economy would have changed drastically so much that, for example, that truck that you looked at that was $50,000 could be $65,000 now. It could be $70,000, or somebody bought it and now you have to get something that's extremely higher and you're like, I got to go back to the drawing board. But here's the good thing for you. You don't have to save all of that money up front, okay? You can definitely leverage your credit, your good credit, to access bank funding, that or bank capital, however you want to say it, because that is really going to be your partner when it comes to you getting over the road. So let the business pay the bank back as you run all of these loads, or however you're going to make your cash in that truck. Does that make sense? And even if it doesn't make 100% sense, I promise you I am going to break everything down. So let's go ahead and talk about this 100K year and how it can work kind of in a simple manner. Because there are two paths that you can definitely take. You can either drive it yourself, get on the road, get your hands dirty and things like that, or you can be a business owner in a different sense and manage drivers. Either way is going to be right, but it just depends on what works for you. So let's go ahead and talk about the first option, you getting behind the wheel, you driving. So if you aim to do that, let's go ahead and say that you do at least 2,200 miles per week. And for all my truckers, don't come for me. This is just surface level blueprint numbers, okay? That's roughly, when I did my calculations, about $2.15 per mile. So if we do $2.15 per mile, for 48 active working weeks, that's 48 weeks a year, that's around $226,000 gross, okay? Not net profit, but gross profit. And after normal expenses, we're talking about fuel, insurance, truck note. Of course, you have to save for maintenance. It doesn't matter what you do. And even more than that, there's way more, in depth than that. That's about a 55% for the cost. So that leaves you about $100,000 a year before taxes, depending on how your taxes are set up. And that's when you run a very tight ship, okay? But let's just say that you're like, you know what? I did over the road. It's cool. Now I just want to manage drivers. Let's just say you go that route, and we're going to talk about the managing the driver route. So just with one well-ran truck, you can net the business at least $40,000 to $60,000 after paying the driver. Of course, your lanes have to be really good, but I'm just giving. I'm gonna continue to do that. But $40,000 to $60,000 after paying the driver. With two good drivers, you can see a steady lane that can get you at least $100,000 plus every single year, just by you doing all of your due diligence and making sure everything is correct. Okay, some may vary, but I'm just saying that as far as right now. So think about this. You have to worry about your authority. You have to worry about some type of dedicated lanes. Any lanes that you have, you got to call all of these people as far as these companies. Hey, do you have any working, lanes, anything of that nature? Hey, do you have anything that I could definitely pick up? You have so many things to worry about. And you want to add on top of that saving $50,000 or $70,000 or $100,000, that's going to drive you through the roof. So that's why I'm saying there's a way easier path to do this to really help you maneuver moving forward, to make you not only an active business owner, but a strategic business owner. And that's why I was saying, as far as utilizing the banks to partner with you to make your money moving forward. Because a lot of you are over the road always think about this, but you really don't know how to really execute this, and that's where I'm going to kind of bridge that gap for you. So at the end of the day, when it comes to the banks and trying to access capital, number one, off rip, the banks need to trust you with their money, okay? So the trust has to show, and that shows within your credit report. So that's what we're going to talk about next, which is in the next step, as far as your credit report and what banks like to see. So before you walk into that bank and ask them, hey, let me get $500 million in funding or capital, whatever you want to say, and then they tell you, yeah, you can go ahead and get up out of here, just hear me out right here. Banks want to see simple, clean signals, okay? Now, the thing that I'm telling you right now, you need to aim for as far as your credit report, I'm going to always say this, a 700 credit score or better. You can definitely get around, a 680, but you have to have a really spectacular, credit report. But as far as a score, 700 score. Now, after that credit score, we're talking about the utilization, okay? That means how much you swipe your card and when you pay off on time. Not just always keeping the minimum balance, but actually paying it off responsibly. You need to keep your utilization under that 20% before you apply for anything. Because even if you have a 700 score, but your utilization is at 80% or something like that, you're a risk. Because it's like, yeah, the score is cool, but he or she doesn't pay back on time. They owe how much right now? $20,000, and they want us to give them $50,000? No, we're not doing that. You don't want them to keep that in their mind. The next thing that we need to talk about is having no negatives on your credit report, okay? We're talking about no late payments, no charge-offs, collections, bankruptcies, you name it. The reason why is because you don't want to look risky. I'm going to continue to reiterate that, all right? I don't care if that collection's been sitting on your credit report for 15 years. I'm not saying it's going to be on there for that long, but I'm saying 15 years, 11 years or whatever. If it's showing on your report, even if you paid it off in full, it's still sitting there. So that means that the banks or the underwriters is going to think, well, They didn't pay on time back then. How do we know they're not going to relapse? You see what I'm saying? And how do they know they're not going to relapse with the money that they want to take from us? So no, we're going to deny them. So what I'm saying is you have to clean that up as well. All right. Whether you try to do it, you try to utilize me to help you do it, or somebody else, just get it done. And while you're getting it done, make sure you let me or anybody else know, hey, get rid of these inquiries as well. Because inquiries can play a factor, because you can have no negatives, but if you've been going to every single bank, and you got all these inquiries that you racked up in the past 30 days or anything like that, that can stop you as well. So you want to look clean no matter what. Look clean as possible. I'm not telling you to be, a guru when it comes to credit. Just be a guru with your credit, okay? That's all I need you to do at the end of the day. If you want capital, you want to be responsible, if you want all this money to scale to the next level, you have to do what business owners do. Looking at the numbers, looking at your numbers, and executing properly, all right? That's all I'm telling you to do. So keep everything else looking good to excellent. Build comparables as far as making sure that you have, high limit credit cards or anything, any type of responsibilities as far as let me break that down a little more. When it comes to the comparable credit, I mean, as far as, if you're looking for $100,000, you want to at least show the bank that you can handle, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 on the personal side responsibly, because then they feel a little more comfortable. And of course, if you ever need help with that, you can click the link below and I would help you, with a funding strategy to really specifically help you so you can get that $150,000 in funding. Trust me, I'm telling you, it's very much so possible. But if you want to do it yourself, make sure that you have high limits on the personal side before you go to the banking side as well. And I mean the business. So now, business owners, once you have all of that information lined up, your credit score looks good, your credit report looks good, you have comparable credit, I'm still not telling you just to, run into the bank and ask for $100,000. Let's go ahead and create like a mini strategy on how you can do this, because you can't go to just every bank and ask for $100 million, because it doesn't work like that. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into a specific funding strategy that can possibly help you get that $75,000, $100,000, $150,000 if you play this smartly. Okay. Now, just want to say, as far as the banks, make sure you check your area, because every bank can possibly be different. And then always check your local branches for any latest offers as well. And again, you don't have to necessarily use the banks that I'm about to tell you. Always check your backyard as far as those banks that none of us know about, because they can be giving business owners, $100,000 even if you just sign up. Of course, I'm over exaggerating, but it could definitely happen. You never know. You never know what God got for you. But let's go ahead and get into the first bank, which is Truist Bank. Okay, Truist Bank has helped a lot of my truckers in the past access capital that really had it in their area. Okay. So basically, again, make sure that Truist does service your area, because it doesn't service every single place. If it doesn't service your area, I would say try maybe Citizens Bank, or maybe try, I would say, Key Bank as well. Key Bank is another good one. KEY Bank. I've talked about that on my channel, but try Key Bank if Truist Bank is not in your area. But let's keep getting into Truist. Now with Truist Bank, we're going to go ahead and go back to what we were talking about before, your credit report. These are the data points that you need before you apply for anything. Target a 700 plus score, okay? I have seen and gotten approvals for people with 680s, 690s, but they have really, really strong credit profiles. Again, keeping your utilization under 20% when you apply. However you got to do it. I don't care how you do it. Just make sure it looks good on paper that you have low utilization at that time. Next thing, when it comes to the results, make sure you have fewer than at least 3 inquiries, all right? So in the past 30 days, I would say in the past 90 days, try not to have no more than 3. In the past 30 days, try not to have no more than 1. They're not inquiry sensitive, but I just like to be safe than sorry when it comes to these banks. You don't want to give them any reason to deny you. So just keep that in mind, for all of the data points that you have. If you don't understand, make sure you rewind this, listen to it again, write it down so you know what to do before you pull that trigger. Now, Truist does do a hard pull on your Equifax, as in the making of this video, and it's always going to be a personal guarantee or a PG. All right. So that means that, if your name is Bob, you're trying to get Bob LLC going and you're a trucker, you're going to have to vouch. Make sure, again, you're going to have to connect your personal to this business. God forbid, if anything happens, you pay for it. Welcome to the real world. But Once you do that, you're going to start the relationship with Truist Bank. You're not just going to go straight in there and just ask for $100 million. You're going to start the relationship as far as getting the business checking, and then the real deposits come. All right. So try to put $300 to $500 a week, every 2 weeks, something like that, if that helps. Now, once you do all of that, you have the deposits going for, I would say, maybe like a week, 2 weeks, maybe a month. I would say you apply for any type of the business credit cards that they have, and the typical approval should be around that $10,000 to $25,000 of an approval. That's definitely what people get when they use my strategies and my business reps, but you should get something similar to that as well. You should get maybe at least $12,000, $15,000, $18,000. And you can definitely put all this to work. And how to actively use these cards is to do this. You can put fuel and also routine expenses on this card. Make sure that you try your best to pay it off in full, or at least the minimum balance when it comes to the business side. And then maybe in about 6 to 9 months, with the still a clean use, ask for a credit limit increase, and you should get to that $25,000 range. It will definitely help you, okay? And of course, I totally understand that, putting fuel just on this card just isn't, the best. Of course, they have better fuel cards with better, perks and things like that. But I was just saying, as far as using this, I would say pretty much use this card for all of your expenses. If any type of maintenance happens, you can use this card and really build up more of that relationship with them to get even more in the future, but to really be responsible to keep everything in one spot. All right. But this is just the beginning of you getting that first $25,000. The next place that we're going to go to is something that everybody loves to talk about: American Express, or Amex. Now, Amex does not play when it comes to giving people funding or capital. You got to make sure you come correct. So with American Express, you want to make sure that first business credit card you have with them, yet your score is at least a 710 to 720. Your report stays extremely clean, and you have few to no recent inquiries. Amex does not play that when it comes to the inquiries, okay? So have maybe zero. And I know you're wondering, where do they pull from? I mean, Amex normally pulls from Experian, but I have seen it where they pull people's Experian and TransUnion at the same time. When I applied years ago, they pulled literally my Experian and TransUnion, and I've seen them do it for a few of my clients as well. So just be prepared for that. That's why I make sure that I tell everybody to have everything clean across the board. Typical first approvals are around maybe that $15,000 to $25,000 again, but with strong banking and financials, you're looking at possibly $50,000 of an approval. And this is with any type of reps or any type of insiders that you could possibly have, okay? And then what you can do is, once you're in that Amex family, there are no more hard pulls that you're supposed to get. So that means you can apply for the second Amex business card. So after you get the blue business cash card of ranging of at least $10,000 to $30,000, $40,000 of an approval, the next thing that you can do is apply for a second credit card, and you can see another $20,000 approval if your income and usage definitely support this, okay? So that means that when you combine Truist and American Express to really cover the startup costs, and you can use any other, banks. I was just trying to give you a starting point of what you can do to really get the amount that you're trying to look for. You can definitely grow your trucking business, whether you're trying to scale or you're trying to start up and start on the right foot, okay? So this is going to be the great way to get you capital. So now in this last part, I just want to give you a 14-day checklist that you could possibly do to get everything going. This is for my people that are starting up as well. Day 1 through 2, you're going to form your LLC and get your EIN. You can definitely do it on LegalZoom, Busy, however you want to do it. You can set up your business address, phone, and email. Do not put trucking, transportation, or anything in your business name. Keep it extremely generic. If your last name is Smith, call it Smith Solutions or something like that. The name matters, but don't stay married to it, okay? Just keep it extremely simple. I'm telling you this for a reason. Do not put that stuff in your business name. All right. So day 3, we're gonna open up the business checking account, whether it's with Truist, Chase, KeyBank, First Citizens, anything like that, and you're gonna start building that relationship. Open that savings account, put deposits in there, do it monthly, every 2 weeks, something like that. Show them that you're here for the long haul. All right. So then day 4, day 5, you're gonna pull your credit. You're gonna pay down all of your personal credit cards below that 10%. 20%, because I know I talked about that, and you're going to pause any new inquiries. Day 6, we're going to prep the docs. We're talking about the DLs, the EIN letters, LLCs, bank statements, insurance quotes, everything of that nature before we execute. And then day 7, we're going to apply with Truist Bank. We're going to do it If you can, try to do it in branch if possible. And that's what we're gonna do right there to try to get our first approval. Day 8 and day 9, we're gonna see if we got approved, and we're gonna set it on auto pay if you feel comfortable. And then we're gonna go to American Express and get the Blue Business Cash Card to start out. We're gonna use the pre-approval tool to see if American Express is gonna actually approve us before we get the hard pull. If you do, go ahead. And day 10, you're gonna consider the second Amex Business Credit Card to kind of really just up your capital so you have way more in reserves. Day 11 and 12, you're gonna, of course, purchase the ELD numbers, GPS, all that type, MC dot numbers, however long that takes you. And then, of course, day 13, secure your truck and trailer, however you gotta do it. And then in day 14, we should see basically the execution of everything we did in the past 13 days, and then, get on the road as far as that first lane that we have. Of course, it's a little, more than that, but still, I'm just trying to give you, a checklist to kind of help you. Again, always remember, keep your utilization low no matter what on the business or personal side. Now, I know a lot of you are like, man, Eric, that sounds awesome. That sounds great. But, I'm in the truck. I do a lot. I don't have time to, pull all this stuff, do everything and things like that. I really need help. Don't worry. I got you. Because if you definitely need help, for any of my truckers out there that are trying to, scale or start up, what I want you to do is click the link below right now to schedule your consultation with me so we can actually create an action plan specifically for your needs to help you get the capital you need to scale or to really just start up. You're trying to look for that second truck, third truck, fourth truck, or even just that first truck. I want to help you get it because the same thing that I did for my older clients, I can do the same thing for you so you can get $50,000 to $300,000 in capital. Trust me. I want to thank you guys for stopping by. I really hope that this helps one of you guys and really just puts that or sparks that idea in your head that, man, this could definitely be obtainable if I just maneuver and get everything corrected and everything in line so I can start making $100,000 on that road just like everybody else. I want to thank you guys for stopping by, and until next time, ladies and gentlemen.